So Lori Nesson was a 15-year-old girl that was found naked on the side of the road, and they didn't know what happened to her, and this was 46 years ago. So over the years, there's been multiple attempts at trying to elucidate who a suspect could have been and what evidence might have been available. And ultimately, it was the tenacity of the Reynoldsburg Police Department to pursue this case and keep trying to find an answer that led us to where we are today. So the case was originally not classified as a homicide. The coroner had called it death by asphyxiation from an unknown means. So just recently, they were able to, with Reynoldsburg's persistence, they were able to get it turned over to a homicide. There were a lot of challenges just because the evidence collection and preservation back in that time period was much different than it is today because they didn't know about DNA. So once we got the evidence, we realized that it had been packaged in plastic, which is not good for DNA. And then we also were concerned about the age of the evidence. But we went ahead and moved forward with testing anyway, and due to advanced technologies in the field, as well as just the persistence of the law enforcement agency to get an answer, we were able to develop a profile from the genes and compare it to some suspects that they had developed, and we made an inclusion. So pretty exciting. So what was really cool about this case is that as this testing was in progress, the detective at Reynoldsburg Police Department had contacted me and told me that he had been having discussions with other area law enforcement to determine if there were any potential cases that were similar to his. Since it was a pretty, horrific crime, it had some unique details. There are always issues with preservation of evidence over time, just that the agency's not understanding back then what they had and the potential for it to be used as evidence. So when I still remember opening that data set and looking at it and just being like, oh my gosh, this actually gave us something. It's a 46-year-old piece of evidence, and we were able to, with the perseverance of the law enforcement agency and the advancement in our technology, able to actually get a profile. So it was definitely something that we all hope for in working these cases, is to get an answer and be able to provide closure for the family. So it was really cool.